So I think the voice is a very, I mean, probably generally speaking, it's a very intuitive instrument. Although I kind of feel like any embodied practice of playing an instrument is going to have some kind of intuition to it. But it is so close, like the instrument is your body and you live with your body, you sleep with your body, you like all the things, that it feels very close to like one's identity, I guess. And so it feels very natural to me. Like I've been singing since I was very little, and for a long time I didn't even want to be a singer, but I love to sing. And so I think that I've kind of developed this relationship with my instrument, that it's a lot more open and less of like a pre-described thing. And so I accumulate, or like I've been collecting techniques, different techniques, and I studied classical singing, I studied like Venezuelan folk singing, I've studied Balkan singing, I've studied all these different things, and I've like dabbled also in a lot of different things to just kind of collect different ways to use my instrument, you know, to use my mouth, to use my body to make sound. That always feels very connected to like muddy entrails, you know, or like bloody, muddy entrails. So, yeah, it always feels like it's coming from deep, like somewhere I can't really like talk about, but it's, I've been just kind of doing this thing to be able to do this thing. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I use a lot of sounds of speech. That's something that I have definitely like, I'm more oriented towards that than other techniques, I think, in my practice. And really thinking about expressing things through sounds of speech without actually speaking words. I mean, and when I say expressing something, I don't mean, you know, like well-defined thoughts, just more like very fuzzy ideas and vibes and things. Yeah, so I like, and in the like the not the field, but the sphere, or like the world of improvisation. It's not a world, but whatever. If I like step into that, I mean, this is what I do. I am an improviser, right? And I am a vocalist. And so that also a big part of the vocal practice is to just like make that connection between like the muddy, bloody entrail and somebody else's, right? Just kind of like be able to relate to other people in ways that are not possible verbally or, you know, socially. Kind of like communing in a way, creating something. I feel like that's very special and an important part of my practice. And so it's the voice is in service of that.
Just a yes or no. Have you ever had a dream in which you sing?
Yes.
for this one with Danishta, I had it in my mind that I wanted to do something with a glitchy melodic component, just because I thought that would sit well with the voice. Like it was just an aesthetic inkling that I got. So I knew I wanted to use the OP1 with some kind of glitchy stutter stuff alongside the rest of the setup. So I pulled that out and set that up. And then with that, I also wanted to have, I guess, like a kick drum type thing. So I set up like the bass drum trigger to be able to trigger samples and the modular stuff with that as well. So those came together as part of the having a glitchy pitch language and some kind of low kick. So some kind of like almost songy things, which isn't that case, but like that's a little bit where I was coming from. And then with the rest of the things here, what I did is I took some classification stuff. So I trained a classifier. So if I'm hitting the head of the drum and the rim of the drum, it's triggering samples and sending CV to the landscape noon. And if I'm hitting the crotales, I'm triggering different voices on the ciat-lonbarde clicker. And then in both of those cases, it's taking descriptors from it as well. So it, like, depending on which class it is, it'll activate a voice on those things over there. And depending on how loud or bright or whatever the timbral characteristics, it sends that over. I did have some stuff mapped to my little controller here to turn on and off the clicker and the noon. So at some points, I just basically play the objects acoustically. So that's some of the kind of technical setup here. And then based on the discussion in the middle, I thought it would be interesting to leave, for the bulk of it, the electronics aside. So I physically removed stuff and then had like a lower open thing, more long, like textural things. So I thought that like would contrast nicely with, for one, the first half, but also be relevant to the things in the second half. And then over here with the physical setup, I'm using the expert sleepers to send all the CV for Max. And then a bunch of it, more of it is connected than needs to be. I was just experimenting. So all the voices are connected here on the noon, but I think in the end, I only just used 3 of the voices, one with a kick and then one with the head and the rim, and then the clicker, the same thing. So depending on when I trigger stuff, so like when I do stuff, it triggers one of the voices and it activates the corresponding class. So either the clicker or the noon.
If you'd like to support the making of these videos, please join our Patreon. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching.